Welcome back to the show, nerds, and happy holidays! I am Larry Brantley, and I'm sitting here with my two best friends, Micah Donahoe.
Greetings, programs.
And Brent Williams.
L'chaim.
And we, very appropriate, by the way, and we are the Nerdherfers. We are three middle-aged guys who enjoy whiskey and cigars and all the nerdy shit we loved when we were kids, and we're so happy to have you here during the holiday season. We are brand new-ish to the YouTube, so if you're tuning in for the first time and seeing us on video, unfortunately, this is what we look like. You can also get us wherever you get your podcasts if you just can't stomach the sight of us. But we really enjoy being on video, and we hope you will enjoy being along with us as well. If you've never tuned into the show before, this is how it works. Every week, one of us brings a cigar for all of us to try and review. One of us brings a bottle of whiskey to do the same, and one of us brings the topic of conversation that we then become nerds about. And this one, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. If you are not currently a member of the Nerdherfer Nation, it's so easy to join the program. All you have to do is go out to nerdherfers.com, hit the subscribe button. That's going to clue you in whenever we've got a brand new episode dropping. Coming up in 25, we're going to have some members-only additional material for you to peruse and laugh at us or with us, but mostly at us.
Mostly at us.
Mostly at us. Yeah. We've also got a cool merch shop. We've got a partnership with Cigars International. So if you are a person who enjoys cigars and you like something or you're curious about something that you see on the show, all you have to do is click through the Nerdherfers website to our cigar shop. That will take you to CI and you can get that cigar brought to your very self. So hit that subscribe button today. You would make all of us a Merry, Merry Christmas if you did that. And now it's time for a segment of the show that we like to call Nerd News. It's last week's news today. You probably already heard this if you're a nerd, but you haven't heard our take on it. And we go, as always, to our very, very specially dressed anchor person, Brent Williams. Brent, first of all, love your outfit for the show tonight. Not a giveaway for the topic at all. Okay, I don't even want to know what that was. Was that like some queso that you had from like 1985? Yeah. You're picking off of there? Yeah. Should have watched that thing first, buddy. Anyway, what nerd news do you have for us this week, Brent?
Is it poop or chocolate?
Oh, no. Queso. Stick to queso.
Okay. All right.
We are not editing that out, by the way.
Not at all.
It's too good.
All right. Well, researchers in Australia are creating using those giant cockroaches in Australia. They are wiring up computer chips to them.
Hold the phone. There are large cockroaches in Australia?
Dude, have you ever seen any insect out of Australia?
I mean, no insect in Australia is small.
No.
I get that.
The spiders are like as big as your head.
Yeah, they're like this.
That's not even a joke.
And the ants are like that.
Yeah.
Like
they carry off small babies a few times a year.
The thing about going to Australia is everything there's trying to kill you.
Pretty much.
Sorry to interrupt.
All right. Anyway, so some Australian researchers they're taking giant cockroaches. They are wiring in. They inject them with a tranquilizer and then wire in these computer boards, so they can remotely control them.
Oh man.
So Fifth Element. You know how they had the little cockroach spy? That's actually what they're doing.
Oh, wow.
And their hope is they want to create larger these biomechanical things, I'm going to call them. And the hope is to use them in rescue situations. Like if it's a place that people can't get into, they can send these things in there with cameras to see, if there's people in there and need rescued, and even take things to them if they need to, that type of thing.
Okay, you know what? That is a good idea in theory. However, if I may just throw a wrench into the works, you're trapped under a building for 24 hours. You can barely see, and then a giant-ass cockroach with a searchlight on it shows up. And you think, I'm either hallucinating or dying right now. And then probably the cockroach begins to talk to you.
Yes. And the people outside that said,
I'm here to help.
The cockroach people outside, they said, those people are just goners. So let's see if we can scare the crap out of them, and maybe they'll just die on the spot. We don't have to go after them. We have to send more supplies.
Kind of morbid.
So anyway, just think it through, guys. That's all we're asking. Think it through.
Maybe a bunny. Send a bunny.
Don't get it. Yeah, right.
Send a bunny.
A nice fluffy bunny.
A chipmunk.
Yeah,
if you will.
but not like a teddy bear. That's also terrifying.
Then it pulls out a katana when it gets there.
Yes. Or it looks like Teddy Ruxpin. Anyway, moving on.
Continuing with the mad scientist theme.
Yes.
Some researchers have given mushrooms a robot body. They've actually created 2 versions of this. So there's one with tracks, wheels, and one with, looks like 5 fingers. It goes like this with a dome on top.
Have they called it a Goomba?
No.
Oh,
Sorry. Maybe somebody did. I don't know. But these mushrooms, they are called the king oyster mushroom. They're an edible mushroom. But anyway, so they grow mycelium into the electronic parts of these things, and then they can react to environmental stimuli, right?
Okay.
So like the video of it's really weird. It shows this mushroom like in this hand thing, like it's just like going like this and moving around.
wow.
It's so crazy.
Does it travel through the mycelial network, meaning that it actually travels through space and time?
Wow, that would be kind of cool if it did.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the ultimate secret goal of this.
That's Star Trek Discovery.
I just
if
want to
anybody
know,
doesn't
like, first of all, if this is the current science project you're working on, you've definitely been taking mushrooms and not those kinds.
See, that's where I thought he was going with
Yeah,
that.
because who else would think of that? It's just like a bunch of scientists sitting
Druggies.
around doing, drinking some special tea, as
Look,
it were.
There's so much technology that is inspired by sci-fi movies. And
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that exists because of those sci-fi movies.
Wasn't there a thing out there a while ago where somebody was sending out like a ton of money for somebody to create the actual first tricorder? Kind of the same deal.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
We'll have to look that up later.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Another time.
All right. Well, 2 years after it was first announced, finally the Henry Cavill Warhammer 40K movie has been greenlit.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's going to be on Amazon Prime. They spent 2 years hashing out all the production details and the storylines and all that kind of stuff. But it is good to go. Henry Cavill even, sent out on his Instagram or his tweetsers or whatever he has got now.
It's Twitter to everyone except Elon Musk.
That's right.
Twixers?
Yeah, Twixers. Anyway, he sent out,
Twixers.
that they've been working hard and they finally got a green light for it. So I'm kind of excited to see it because, he's a huge Warhammer 40K
Yeah.
fan.
Did
Yeah.
you ever play? Did you guys ever play? I never
I've
played.
played it one time.
I've never played it.
I never
I
played.
played it one time. It took 3.5 hours, and apparently that was a short version.
Yeah, I never really got into a lot of tabletop games like I did just regular pen and paper.
Yeah.
No, I never played it. But I honestly, at this point, I want to see the Cavalry return to the MCU. I
Yeah,
want
that's
to
true.
see him.
That's true.
So good luck with Warhammer, Henry, but Cavalry.
Yeah, baby.
Cavalry.
And that's it for this week's edition of Nerd News. You heard it here, dead last, and aren't you lucky? Okay, let's kick this show off. This week, it was Brent's turn to bring the cigars, and he gave us a little bit of warning. We never tell each other ahead of time. Whoever's turn is to bring the cigars, nobody spills the beans about what we're bringing. But Brent felt the need to give us just a little bit of a heads up and tell the people why.
I told them to have a hearty meal because this cigar is going to knock you on your bootay.
Oh, bring it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like a challenge, Mike.
Dark.
Yeah.
It sounds dark.
Sounds like
It's
a challenge.
dark. It's short. It's 5-inch, 32 ring gauge. We've actually had some of its cousins.
Okay.
We had the 601 green Maduro,
Oh, okay.
or green, and then we had off camera. We had the 601 blue.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
This one is from the 601 family. It is called. Hello. It is
Your
called.
mic is like, tell me more.
Yes, I'm a friendly Mike.
The yellow labels are called La Bomba,
Oh, boy.
and this one is called Napalm.
I love the name.
Man.
Yeah.
Are we going to
And
pass that down?
you know when
Here
you
go,
see
buddy.
when you see those strength and body charts when you're looking at cigars,
Yeah.
this one is all the way to the right in the dark red.
Yeah. All
And
right.
it does not come out of the gate slowly. It just punches you right in the face.
Right in
I'm
the
gonna
face.
tell you.
So just a reminder that 601 brand is from Espinosa, right?
Espinosa.
Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
comes with a ripcord.
Yeah, it's got
Oh,
a
it
fuse.
does.
It's got a fuse.
Fuse.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, you want to see us all die on the show? This is
So-
how it happens.
So
Because
in
this
the
is
cigar
actually a
world,
bomb.
that is actually called a rat tail.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the purpose of a rat tail?
I don't know the answer.
On
Do you,
this,
Brett?
it's just to make it look like a fuse.
Yeah.
So this is Nicaraguan puro. We have a problem saying that word for some reason.
If you say it with
Nicaraguan?
an accent, it comes out real
Yeah,
good.
Nicaraguan.
Nicaraguan.
See how he
Yeah.
rolled off the
Nicaraguan.
tongue,
It
right?
does, right? It's a puro. The wrapper is Habano. And what makes this so strong is the long filler that they use is extra fermented.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So it is super strong.
Is it okay for me to lose my tail?
Oh, yeah, you don't need that.
All right, cool.
That's just for show. Yeah,
Ooh,
very
boy,
oily
that
wrapper.
is
I mean, you can just see, you can literally see the sheen on that thing. Yeah, that's dark.
So there's like a ton of like super dark chocolate on that for me. Oh boy. All right.
Very good draw.
My cold draw was more of the same of the nose. It was like very, very dark. It's kind
Very
of
dark.
telling you straight up what's
Bitter.
going to happen.
Yeah, it's like dark and
Like,
bitter.
we're not messing around here. Like this is almost like baker's chocolate
Yeah, that is strong.
and like espresso bean.
It's like that 95% cacao or something.
All right.
Cacao.
You have to say it like that for some reason.
Cacao.
Here we go.
All right.
Oh boy.
I had to adjust my lighter there. So I get a nice toast on this guy. There we go.
Oh, I can get on board with that.
You are not lying, dude. That does not start off easy. That's not letting you into it. That is like safety's off. Don't even bother with
Yeah.
seatbelts.
Yep.
And caution to just get out of the room, Dad. You're being such a goober right now.
The first time I had one of these, I'd had like a yogurt that day.
By the way, we should probably mention that Brent often forgets to eat.
I do.
So
You wouldn't be able to tell.
The fact that
But I do. And you can't really tell. But
shared with me that he had this cigar and he was going to bring it on the show. He didn't tell me what it was, but he talked about. And the first thing I asked, he goes, "Oh man, I'm like, I was like maybe nicotine head." And I'm like, "What did you eat in that day?" And he went, "Yogurt." Huh?
had to
I
go inside and
why.
cook a steak real quick.
I had 3 steak tacos for dinner tonight.
There you go.
So
Oh, that's good.
hence the socks.
That is deep. Now, it was my turn to bring the bottle, boys. And I will tell you that because of the precaution that Brent gave us ahead of time, I thought we're going to need something. I know it's going to be a strong cigar. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to bring a whiskey that's going to hopefully balance this out. So what I have done is I have gone back to my favorite land in the world, Scotland, specifically to Speyside, specifically to the foothills of the Grampian mountain range, to a distillery that holds the distinction of being, from a sea level standpoint, the highest distillery in all of Scotland.
Oh, wow.
This is a 15-year single malt that I have bought tonight. So what do we say about that?
We don't do this all the time.
It's not an all-the-time thing.
Holy goodness,
However,
sir.
And Merry Christmas to us.
However, I think the tasting notes are going to balance out this very, very strong cigar. So what I have brought for us this evening, boys, is, if I can reach it. Here we go. Come on, baby. Come on. Help me. Thank you. The Dalwhinnie 15-year single malt.
Wow.
Now, you're going to notice right off the bat that this is sort of like a honey color.
Yes.
Even though it's 15 years, you'd think it'd be a little darker. I'm not sure exactly why that is. However, I will say that, well, actually, I do know why that is.
Yeah.
Because this is a scotch that has only been matured in bourbon casks.
Okay.
No sherry finish.
No finishes, yeah.
No port finish. Nothing like that. This is a straight single wood double or single malt single wood.
Okay.
Well,
And so, consequently, tasting wise, you're going to get like fruit. You're going to get fresh cut grass, honeysuckle, that kind of thing. And now here comes the magic sound. Wait, I have to get right in position for this. And, oh, wait. Oh, I'll try it.
Excuse me. Oh, there we go. I mean, it was a little bit rough at first coming out, but
it sounded like it was protesting.
I need a cigar. I don't want it. All right, boys, let's have a Glencairn, and we'll just do a little bit of that right there. We have our special crystal etched Glencairns tonight, courtesy of Micah Donahoe.
thank you.
And Brent, your turn.
I'm excited. Can you tell?
Now,
how
I will
excited
say this, boys. This is one that I think you'll probably want to add just a little bit of water to, but let's try it neat first, and you guys can tell me what you
This
think.
is interesting. I'm not seeing a lot of legs on this. It's very determined to stay on the side of the
So
glass.
one of the reasons for that is the more sugar that there is in the whiskey, the bigger the legs are going to be. And because this doesn't have a sherry or a rum or a port finish, you add the finish, you add it into those casks, you're definitely picking up more fructose.
Okay.
That's left over from
Yeah,
the barrel.
that's all thigh. That's not even a leg.
So, yeah, well, you know what? I'm a thigh man, not going to lie.
That's like lower back.
Smells delicious.
Did you say what the proof is on this?
86 proof.
86. Okay.
So not too heavy. Didn't want to go with a high proof whiskey.
that's
Lots of
great.
honey, citrus.
I got pear.
Pear immediately. Yep.
Let's go in.
Oh, that's smooth.
Ooh.
That is fracking smooth.
That tastes
That's,
very good.
I'm getting apples and pears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good combo. So that it's almost like apples and pears, not anything like cinnamon or allspice or anything like that.
Like a green apple.
But it tastes very bright.
And honey. Like it's all mixed with honey.
There is honey. So I think that is going to pair nicely with this La Bomba Napalm that we're smoking. We've got the yin and the yang. We've got the light side and the dark
lovely
side
Scotch
of
and
the
destroy
force.
you.
Yeah.
Scotchy, Scotch. I love Scotch.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm just gonna say, just do it right now.
That's nice.
Take a nice good drag of that really full cigar, let it out, and then finish it with a little bit of whiskey. You're gonna love that.
Wow. I'm not gonna add water to this.
I think we got a good balance.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wow. All right.
All right, we are off and running. All right, so we have got the 601 Espinosa La Bomba Napalm that we're smoking tonight. We've got this lovely bottle of Dalwhinnie 15-year single malt Scotch from Speyside, which is in the Highlands of Scotland. All we need now is the topic of conversation, and we turn once again to our master storyteller, Micah Donahoe.
Well,
Wait. Let me time the lead in. Hold on. There you go.
And I went, and Brett. Okay. So tonight's conversation is going to be a little bit controversial to some. In previous episodes, we've done the prequels, we've done the original trilogy, and tonight is the postquels. Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9.
All right.
And
let's
one of the
go.
reasons why I really, really dig this trilogy, I'm just going to go ahead and say that off the bat. I'm going to be an advocate for these movies right off the bat because I talked to some of my other friends, and I'm anxious to hear what the two of you have to say about it. But I talked to my other friends about it, and they are like, it's crap. Kick it out. I hate it. Blah, blah, blah. It's a copy of the other ones. It sucks.
Are these friends our age?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's important for my commentary.
For context,
later.
Yeah. So the thing that I really, really liked about these the most was that yes, there are definite parallels all the way through, and that's fine. But there's something about the chemistry of the actors that they chose for these parts to fulfill certain roles and to continue a storyline. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about it is that the chemistry of it, everything was kind of quick wit. I was really enjoying everything that I was hearing. I loved the delivery of things. I'm just a huge fan. So tonight, I really just wanted to make this. I don't have a long list of questions. I just want to do an open-ended discussion about this, and wherever it leads, it leads.
Well, I want to piggyback on something you just said. I will also, upon further viewings, and I've watched the postquels a lot now, I will stand with you in terms of advocating for these films. Initially, and the reason why I asked you were the critics that were your friends our age is because that happened a lot for the prequels.
Oh, yeah.
And, Lucas has made it very clear that what he was doing was he was presenting Star Wars to an entire new generation. It all stayed in with the master
audience.
story, but it was a younger audience, and it was made. And once he explained that to my ignorant ass, then I understood. I mean, not to me personally, but I read it in interviews. One of the reasons that I did like the 7, 8, and 9 as much as I did was because it felt very much to me like the spirit and adventure of the first 3 films, meaning 4, 5, and 6.
I agree.
The dialogue was in 1, 2, and 3, everything sort of plodded along. And maybe they were trying to create a different time and a different era where people spoke differently and acted differently. It was the height of the Jedi popularity or whatever. But these felt more like down and dirty, gritty. Everything moves fast. The dialogue is fast. The humor is in there, which is actually something I thought was missing from the first 3 films, or from the prequels, I should say. So I agree with you on that point. I'm interested because our resident Star Wars nerd, without question, and let me say, we all know it's Brent, but he was prepared to do the intro to the show tonight in his Stormtrooper helmet until we explained that he'd have to take his glasses off and his earphones, and also he's still in charge of running everything technically.
Yeah, and then we couldn't fit his walker in here at all either. So.
No, we couldn't. So, but I am interested to hear what your take on the postquels is.
Well, first of all, how could you say there's no comedy in the prequels? I mean, we had Jar Jar.
Oh God!
And the silence filled the
Bye.
room.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I've seen Force Awakens twice. The other two I've only seen one time in the theater.
Okay. What is that? Your total viewing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And he has Disney Plus. I know this for a fact.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I'm one of the Star Wars fans that for many, many years, Yarons, if we were in Battlestar Galactica speak, we had a plethora of incredible storylines and material, characters, plot development, character development. I mean, we had so much good stuff. And then when Disney bought Lucasfilm and they said, okay, all that stuff is Legends now. First it was extended, then became Legends or whatever. Which they're slowly bringing some of those elements back, which I love. So I was super excited for Force Awakens, right? First Star Wars film we'd had in, 20 years?
It was a while.
Yeah, 15, 20 years. And then to basically see it as a rehash of Episode 4.
So you agree with Micah's friends who are critics and saying that it was just a rehash.
And the reason, like, if I didn't know all of the things I know about the Star Wars universe, I probably would have enjoyed that film a lot more. But I was thinking they were going to bring some elements of that story from the beginning because, like I said, man, there's so much good stuff, and so I was disappointed that all that stuff was kind of thrown out the window and they basically rehashed the Episode 4.
How much licensing can they actually pull from something like that? Like there was the Han Solo trilogy, the books, and then the Bounty Hunter.
Lucasfilm owned all of it.
They did.
So, yeah.
Okay. So it was just a choice that they decided not to borrow from that, especially like when creating The Mandalorian and...
Well, but they are now, like Thrawn. I mean, the whole...
Well, that, yes, but my point is...
That whole universe of Star Wars got kicked off by Timothy Zahn.
But my point is the, like, even the Boba Fett storyline, being a Mandalorian and everything, taking all that out, making him a clone, and then the Mandalorian's not a race, it's a religion, and it encompasses multiple. So that's what I was saying. So I guess maybe it was a little... So in 7, 8, and 9, what do you feel that they could have used that they didn't use? Because those felt like brand new stories to me, apart from the fact that they paralleled the older ones.
Okay, one thing I did like that they got wrong. The execution was wrong. Good idea, bad execution. So in the early works of that extended universe after the Star Wars movies, they were battling a lot of the Imperial Remnant.
Yeah.
Right. Like Pelion and all those guys.
Right.
So they took that in Episode 7 and made that into a cloned Emperor in the First Order.
Okay.
Right. So in the original extended stuff, the Rebels win, they get the New Republic. There's a lot of material around, trying to get that running and stuff and all the things they had to do to keep that running and defend it and stuff. Right. And they were battling Imperial Remnant at the same time.
Han and Leia's kids and the new Jedi Order.
In Episode 7, it was like they were still the rebels. They were the resistance now. Like their victory at Endor meant nothing, right? And the First Order was still basically in charge.
Okay,
right?
But now that you've seen The Mandalorian, doesn't it make you feel a little bit better about that? Because that's 5 years after Jedi, and then you get to see the New Republic taking shape. But then 7, when Episode 7 kicks off, now there's been a resurfacing of evil.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think The Mandalorian kind of retconned Episode 7, to be honest. Because according to Episode 7, there never was really a time of the New Republic.
Well, actually, I'm going to disagree there because they're now I don't think that they explored. I don't think they did enough exposition on that. But there is a point in 8 where Luke makes some mention of, it was peaceful for a while. because it was when he was kicking off the new Jedi Academy and doing all this stuff, and they did have some years in there. But I kind of agree with you, not about the retcon thing, but about they should have, they try to. I do give them credit, but they did kind of try to explain all of that in the title sequence, and that just is never going to work.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, so why is there resistance, right? If there was a New Republic, I mean, it should be the New Republic fighting the First Order. Why is there a resistance now? If there was a New Republic, what's the point of the resistance?
Something happens after Mandalorian that bridges that gap. It has to. So I wanted to point out something in the Mandalorian series is that you've got New Republic cops, and they're all in X-wings, right? Because he has that run-in with the Asian fellow, like quite a few times.
Yeah,
and not as a bad guy, but he's obviously the cop.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but him and his buddy. They're the guys that got basically shit detailed because they're patrolling the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
So that's like it's just the Outer Rim, man. It's like we just drive around our X-wings all the time. And I agree with you. There are some things that I think when you have a universe this big that unfortunately, unless you were going to make 6 more films, you can't. You just have to sort of explain them as best you can.
I think you touched on something there. It is a universe. So it's like while things are happening in one area, things are developing in another.
This is what I thought. I mean, I'm going to sidebar just for a second, but it very much applies to our conversation. This is what I thought the MCU did so well with some of the television series. Is because we had been used to seeing these big, Avengers-type movies, and then we went ground level with the original Netflix series of Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, and we got these street-level superheroes.
Luke Cage.
And I think that Disney, to their credit, has been trying to do some of that with their series like The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and some of the other stuff. I haven't seen this new one that's started up with Jude Law.
Oh, Skeleton Crew. No, I haven't tried it out either.
I saw the first episode.
Any good?
See, that's what.
I like Jude Law a lot.
You recently said that about a book that you lent me that I was about to give up after 25 pages.
Oh, I'm not going to give up.
And now I'm totally 100% into that book, and I can't wait to read the rest of them. But I just think when you're dealing with a universe that big, and you're making a movie. Keep in mind, you're making a movie. That there are some things that have to go by the wayside. So, does it parallel 4, 5, and 6? Absolutely. Is it kind of an easy plot trick to go that ultimately we find out Rey is the granddaughter of the Emperor? Yeah. But I also wonder, were they really struggling to find, because they would have had to create a new super bad guy from scratch.
Who got down with the Emperor, by the way? Who actually got down and funky with the Emperor?
Well,
that's right.
You're that high in power. I mean, I guess you have your choices, but
I guess, but
because when you actually got to see Rey's parents finally in that flashback, I mean, they looked pretty normal.
There's a school of thought,
and it's the son, right?
There's a school of thought that Palpatine actually created Anakin. Because he was created from the Force, right?
Right. That comes in episode 3, right?
Yeah.
The Immaculate Conception,
where he's
of
alluding,
Star Wars.
he's like, there are stories of
but it was never nothing was ever actually said. But anyway, so there's a theory that he was the creator of Anakin. So if that's the case, then I mean he could have created Rey. However, I don't think so. Don't we see their parents at one point?
We do.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Is that the dad, Rey's dad, sends Rey off to protect her from the Emperor and the ultimate final order.
She was left as a very small child, but she has these flashbacks of her parents,
right.
And then she comes to find out what she comes to find out.
Yep.
But yeah,
so that's another thing that always bothered me. Force Awakens, Rey's never flown a starship, but yet she's flying the Millennium Falcon through wrecked Star Destroyers.
Pretty decent pilot, though, and I think that Chewie was actually doing most of the flying.
No. When her and Finn steal the Millennium Falcon, when the First Order TIEs come to attack them, they steal the Millennium Falcon, and she just flies it. And
initially she's having difficulty, but she learns pretty quick.
She's a mechanic too, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like she was busting wombats, in the canyon.
Though.
But
knowing how things work doesn't mean you can do it.
Hey, you know what? I'll bet Rey wishes she knew. I'll bet she wishes she knew about the first third of this cigar.
Oh, good one.
I've got competition.
Actually, it's not that at all, buddy.
know.
I just knew that you're getting into the weeds, and we do need to talk about the cigar. So
I'm going right back to the weeds after this.
Give me your impressions of the first third of the Napalm.
I'm really kind of digging it. I like a dark, rich cigar like this. And it's hitting really, really hard, but that baker's chocolate, the dark chocolate, the espresso is super heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
the espresso,
heavy.
Especially for me.
I mean, it's just punching the kidneys.
No leather for me, no fruit, no real pepper. I got to tell you, I'm not really even getting any pepper. I'm just getting that.
There's a little
that
on the
bitter.
retro. There's a little on the retro.
Okay.
But you would expect, being a Nicaraguan puro,
Nicaragua.
you would expect there to be a lot of pepper in this, but there actually is not. I mean, it is deep, rich flavors, just smacking you across the face.
Those deep, rich flavors, though, but just no pepper for me. Not even on that retro.
It's funny that I'm getting a warmth in my chest that I normally get from good whiskey. I'm getting from this cigar.
Oh, wow.
Now, caution, if you're new to cigar smoking, you don't actually inhale the smoke. It's a completely sensorial experience. It all happens up here. But the strength of the cigar is actually reaching down into my chest.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not unpleasant. I will just say that.
I was watching a new guitar. I was watching a new cigar smoker the other day, and he was doing this.
That's a thing some people do.
That is, yeah. People do it with
called
wine.
chew-
They
it's
do it
called
with whiskey.
chewing, like you do with
Is
whiskey.
that what it is?
Yeah.
I didn't want to ridicule because
No, it's an
I
actual
hadn't
thing.
seen it before. I've got this thing where
It's an actual thing. Because a lot of times when you're drawing in the smoke, it comes in and it's just concentrated, and then you blow it back out.
Yeah.
But you chew it, you spread it all around,
Okay.
so you get a better feel for the taste of it.
I usually bring
And
it
that's
in,
what it's all about.
I usually bring it into my mouth and kind of hold it there, and
Put
then
your left tongue in. You put your left tongue.
and then
Thank you for understanding my hokey pokey reference.
I inhale through my nose, holding the smoke in my mouth, and then I exhale. So it stays there, but it's not going lungs. It's just
Yeah.
I'm giving it a path or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is quite a good pairing. Well, let's continue with our discussion of Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9. The main characters are Rey, Finn, Poe. For some reason, they're all one-syllable names. I don't know why that was a thing.
I want to go back to the weeds real quick.
Sure,
All right.
let's go.
I was in the middle of a thought when it first started.
Yeah, do it.
The other thing that bothered me about Force Awakens is like Rey just knew how to use the Force and how to use a lightsaber. She'd never used one before, but all of a sudden she's super proficient with the lightsaber.
She was skilled with the bow staff.
Eh.
I mean, you're not going to get full sword proficiency with with bow staff.
A lightsaber is a different thing because there's no weight. The weight is all the hilt, right? So it's a different fighting style. But I don't know. To me, that just kind of took away from, it's hard work to become a skilled swordsman with the lightsaber. There's work involved, and you just kind of blew past all that, and all of a sudden she just knows how to fight with the lightsaber.
Well, with a little bit of precognition. I mean, she's using the Force there. She's got some precognition. Something's coming at her. You can see in Force Awakens her lightsaber style is very blunt and rudimentary. It's very hacking wood when she's swinging that lightsaber. What do you think, Larry?
I think that we are essentially talking about what I call the multiverse conundrum, which is, there is the thing in the MCU called the multiverse, and now that genie is out of the bottle, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
As fast as you want, as slow as you want.
Yeah.
And I do think when you're talking about something like the Force, that is a plot device that you can use in that same manner. Rey is obviously born very strong with the Force. Something awakens in her, and all of a sudden she's got Force skills now. And so, you got to put your tongue in your cheek and just go with it and just enjoy the ride, because it is a ride. And so, speaking as someone who was for a very long time a purist, I refer to Patton Oswalt's joke constantly, which is, what would you do if you had a time machine? I would go back to the early 90s and kill George Lucas with a shovel to prevent him from making the prequels. On further subsequent viewings, I should say, of the prequels, that's 1, 2, and 3, I'm still not there. I know you are.
What?
You like the prequels.
No.
No, you didn't?
No.
I swear that you were being an apologist for those one time.
No, not at all.
Okay, good to know.
Not at all.
But I
Sorry, bad improv there.
I gave
No.
shut it down. And I have watched them subsequently. I've tried very much. I've tried looking at them with new eyes, with the understanding that Lucas said, we're trying to bring Star Wars to a whole new generation
They're
of kids.
very difficult to watch.
But man, they just plod along.
The lightsaber battles are probably my only thing that I really enjoyed about it. I like the development of the Obi-Wan character. Maybe that's where you're getting that from, because I really liked his development and his struggle.
I tell you what, where Ewan nailed it. McEwan, no, Ewan McGregor, where he nailed the character was in the Disney series Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
I mean that.
I love that.
And that,
me too.
That was the fight we all wanted to see. I know, right?
I need more of that, and I don't think we're gonna get it.
No, I don't think we will either, because they've sunk all their eggs into Mandalorian, which I'm still excited about. You told us there's a Mandalorian movie in production. I'm very excited about it. But I tell you what, that limited series was his best moments as Obi-Wan.
You know who's going to be in the Mandalorian movie? I can't remember the actor's name. The guy from The Bear.
That dude. Which I have not seen that series yet.
Oh my gosh,
You haven't seen The Bear?
I haven't seen The Bear.
Jeremy Allen White.
No, I think it's only 2 names. I forgot his name.
Hang on.
Yeah,
I have to go nerd check something
to the interwebs.
I think
anyway.
You guys
he's
talk.
going to play Jabba's son.
Oh, that's right. I just saw about that.
What?
Yeah,
yeah, because he's going to play Jabba the Hutt's son. Obviously not. He's not putting on $1 million. Oh no, it is Jeremy Allen White.
Oh, Jeremy Allen White. Very good,
Well
Micah.
done, you.
Very good. So yeah,
Ding, ding.
So yeah, Jabba dies, leaves a power void. I mean, that was the last episode of Book of Boba Fett. He comes in and fills that void and takes over. But yeah, in Mandalorian, he's going to be playing Jabba's son. So.
Wow. Well, Bib Fortuna was on the phone, on the throne. I've got words. He was on the throne, and then
excuse me, Bib Fortuna is calling. I can't understand a word you're saying. Speak basic, jackass.
You wanna white go?
Oh my god. This is what it's like being with nerds, by the way. Now, doesn't it just make you want to jump through the screen?
Well, I gotta say, I mean, so getting back to Force Awakens, one of the things I know that you're having a hard time getting on the bus with everything that she was proficient in so quickly, but I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I've actually seen 7, 8, and 9 probably about 5 to 6 times each, because I really did enjoy.
I'm gonna have to go rewatch them.
I really enjoy the exchanges between the characters. I like all those moments, that the chemistry between Luke, Leia, and Han is there between Rey and Poe and Finn.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And
they did very well together.
And the little quips that they had, even when Finn's like, why are you making your head do like this? Why are you making? I don't even understand what you're trying to.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Or
when he's doing
I'm
that
so
kind
glad
of.
you're alive. You're wearing my jacket. Oh, you can have it back. No, it looks good.
No, it looks good on you. I mean, that kind of exchange that was happening between the characters was making me happy.
It was like West Wing in space,
because that kind of chemistry was not in the prequels.
Aaron Sci-Fi Sorkin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right. It was.
It was missing full-heartedly. I mean, I think that the most chemistry that happened was in deleted scenes with Jake Lloyd and the other kid characters in maybe their, 2 minutes of footage that they had.
Yeah.
And when I was watching the other ones, I really felt like there was a connection, and I liked that they were bringing back one original character for each one to focus on.
Yeah.
Well, like in the third one, when Lando Calrissian shows back up, I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Yeah.
So the whole deal with 7, 8, and 9 was that each one of them was supposed to have like their last day in the sun kind of thing. So like Force Awakens was supposed to be Han's, and then
well, that turned out to be a bummer.
Last Jedi was supposed to be
Harrison Ford wanted to die in Return of the Jedi originally.
Right.
He thought that character story arc had been played out, and he's like, he should die a hero in this movie. And he didn't get his wish, so he finally got his wish.
And then when Han actually dies, to see the pain on Chewie's furry face,
that scream,
how he roared that one.
Yes.
You've never heard a Chewie roar like that before. Yeah. I mean, it punched me in the chest.
They heard that one all the way back on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, they did. So 7 was supposed to be
Kashyyyk. Arcade.
7 was supposed to be arcade. No, 7 was supposed to be Han. 8 was supposed to be Luke,
Is that near
and
Kentucky?
9 was supposed to be Leia.
Yeah.
So But since Carrie Fisher passed, they had to pull a lot of things from 8 that they had filmed and incorporate it into 9.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, there are good things about them for sure. My disappointment is that the storylines weren't more original. You know, because there's just a wealth of information they could have pulled from.
But the character backstories that each one of them got. I mean, Poe is a resistance fighter. You know, he's kind of he's a hot shot. He wants to make his own decisions for the sake of what he believes is good, and he has to get tranked by Leia. Finn is so you guys might have to help me on this one, or Brent, but in the original,
thank you for your support. No, you're totally right. By the way,
in the prequels, stormtroopers are clones. And they're clone troopers at that point.
They're clone troopers, not stormtroopers.
But then when 4, 5, and 6 happen, you hear the way that these stormtroopers talk to each other.
Yeah.
And it's like they're on the job. It's like they signed up for this. It actually goes back to like when Han signs up for the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And then when 7, 8, and 9 happen, that's child abduction.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole topic on that, and Finn was one of those kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets into a situation where he's ordered to kill people, and he can't do it.
Right.
So he defects.
Yeah, there's actually, I don't know if you watched Bad Batch.
Yes.
The end of the series of Bad Batch is when the non-clone troopers started coming into play.
Okay.
Right.
You know what?
There's a whole thing about it.
There's
a whole thing about it how they were basically starting to just dump all the clone troopers.
Uh-huh.
And then people were conscripting, or not conscripting, but people were signing up. Yeah.
Interesting.
So 7, 8, and 9 are basically captured. They are, they're stolen as kids, and they're raised first order.
Yeah.
So do we have a timeline on that? Like, how far? I mean, because Luke's an old man. How far between like say for instance, Return of the Jedi and 7? How many years? 20? 30?
I'm not sure, honestly.
A lot can happen in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Well, if he doesn't know, I definitely
Well, it's because I didn't want to know.
I do have a disappointment, though.
Yeah.
Rey did not construct her own lightsaber. They decided to lean on some sort of force connection to an inanimate object.
Yeah.
That started to bother me a little bit. Had to keep on going back to this relic of a lightsaber.
Well, she does build her own lightsaber eventually.
Well, yeah, at the end of 9.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to see more. And everybody's like, oh, she's carrying around a bow staff? Man, she needs a double-bladed saber because that's what she does best.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I liked the legacy part where she was carrying Leia and then Luke's saber. And I like how
that was fun.
I like how it wrapped very nicely up. We're back on Tatooine, right back where it all started on the abandoned moisture farm, where she takes both of those sabers, wraps them up, and buries them.
Yeah.
And now she's got her own, and it's a completely different color than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So that
Except
I thought
for the
was
video
pretty
games.
Cool. Well, okay, video games.
And the saber I made at Galaxy's Edge, mine's yellow too.
Nice.
Aww.
Yeah. What is it? Yellow? Or is it gold?
No, it's yellow. It's the hilt.
It's Tweety Bird.
It's the hilt. Yeah, it's the hilt that has the leather, and
it's Woodstock.
I've got the raincore tooth as the pommel on it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
you're gonna have to show me that.
It's hanging on my wall in there.
I did not look.
No.
Try not to be all like.
That's on you.
I know.
It's
a Star Wars room. I should have taken it upon myself.
Brent has a Star Wars museum in his house.
Yeah.
It's very overwhelming when you walk in there for the first time. You are just like, you don't know what to look at. So I'm not surprised you missed it. Let me, since you're the primary detractor, if detractor is the word we're using, what did you like about the last 3 Star Wars films?
Okay, I did like the action. I like how it was paced. And I get that things like Rey just knowing how to do things was necessary to move the story forward because it was so fast paced, right? Mm-hmm. There wasn't really time for them to do tons of montages and show her training and stuff like that. I get that. There was great dialogue. Obviously, all the special effects are amazing.
Oh yeah,
because But again, my disappointment is just basically reversioning old material.
Okay.
Right. I mean, when I saw that the freaking planet they turned into a Death Star. I was like, come on. That's the third time now. I mean,
it didn't work the other two times.
it always gets blown up. I don't understand that. I mean, why even try again, you know? But I mean, like I said, there was some good stuff.
Obliterated whole star systems.
Yeah,
though. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was crazy. But again,
they definitely upgraded.
I'm okay. So there's a long time between Return of the Jedi and Episode 7.
Yep.
There's a lot that could have happened. So I want to know, again, we have a new Republic after Return of the Jedi. Why is there a resistance now? What happened in all that time? I mean, basically, it's the Rebel Alliance running from the Imperials again.
Yeah, it fell apart again. Everything fell apart again, and the new Republic became the Resistance. Yeah. How did you guys feel about the Force dyad? Larry.
Again, so I think I get what Abrams and co were trying to do. Here's one thing that I really did like. I really liked in 7 and 8. Luke, well, mostly 8, because that's where we mostly saw Luke Skywalker, was his complete dissolution and sort of deconversion from the Jedi Knighthood.
Turning himself off from the Force.
And because he finally came to really understand that what brought the Jedi Order down was hubris and thinking that they could control an essentially uncontrollable thing. And that they and at the height of their power, and he says this in the film, the height of their power, they allowed the Sith to rise up underneath their noses.
Yeah.
And so that was what terrified him. But, you know, and we don't get this. We have to extrapolate this in our imaginations. At the time, shortly after the second Death Star has been destroyed and the New Republic is on its way to being established, he's got all these grand plans. He's a hero, right? So we learn in 8 that he hated being a hero, especially because there's no room for failure when you're a hero.
Yeah.
And fail he did. He and probably in the worst possible way, because the two people he loves most in the world, his sister and his brother-in-law, he lost their son to the dark side of the Force. And so I enjoyed that arc of story very well. The dyad thing, I get where they were going, because ultimately I think what they were trying to establish as storytellers is you can't have one without the other. And is it possible to have
light without dark?
Is it possible to have a balance, or is it always destined to be one or the other rising? So I get all of that, but it felt a little out of left field when it happened.
Yeah.
So now the way that they shot it cinematically, I thought was pretty cool, where they can only see each other, but they can't see the background, so they can't really tell where they are. And then eventually it becomes so strong that Ren can, grab the beads off of Rey's neck, and have them checked out and realize where she is. And I love that in the second film, Snoke thought that he was doing that, but he wasn't at all.
Clones.
Yeah, and I actually did a little research on Snoke today, what I could find, to find out that he was just basically a puppet.
Oh yeah.
Because when he first showed up in the movie, I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like...
Yeah, he had no backstory.
No, none whatsoever. And I love the fact that it was Andy Serkis. I thought he did a fantastic job, but I'm like, damn it, man. You can't just pop a new one in there on us. This is important. I feel like Deadpool, when he runs across he runs across Elektra and Blade, and I feel like we're missing really important points of exposition here.
Yeah.
So...
Well, Luke Skywalker is another thing that just really pissed me off. It actually pissed off Mark Hamill. He was not happy with it at all, because he was like, this is not Luke Skywalker. And so he got...
Why did he roll with it then?
Well, because he needs to get paid. He aired his grievances, and then he said, okay, having said all that, let's do this. But so again, I think what ruins it all for me is, all the books and the comics and everything that I've been reading over the past 20-something years. And Luke Skywalker, restarts the Jedi Order, starts up a Jedi temple in Yavin, and that's where his school is, and goes through all this stuff. He just becomes this total badass. I mean, he goes and he explores different uses of the Force, and Like he goes to Dathomir and explores how the witches of Dathomir use the Force, and he goes to all these different places, and he just learns everything he can, just like a sponge. And he was not like macho man, but he wasn't a whiny baby either. And they basically turned Luke into a whiny hermit.
This is a common theme that I keep hearing with a lot of people. And I wonder if we can have the conversation around these movies without bringing in what was taken from the traditionalists. Like every single time I have this conversation, it's like they had all this material, they had all this book stuff, they had all this, and people keep saying they didn't use it. And you're not the first one I've heard this from.
Oh, sure.
So when I hear that, I'm like, all right, but I'm not convinced that Luke didn't do all of this great stuff apart from the fact that he was standing over his nephew with a lightsaber, getting ready to kill him, and then had a change of heart.
Well, okay. To Brent's point, a lot of time has passed in between the end of Return of the Jedi and by the time we get to Rey. I think we would all, as Star Wars fans, really and I think honestly that was at least part of the impetus for many of the Star Wars Disney Plus series that have been running, because they do attempt to answer some of that stuff. I will say this: do you guys remember Rogue One?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Loved
Rogue
it.
One.
Loved Rogue
End
One.
of that film. I thought it was a great film. Loved that film. End of that film, we finally got to see a little bit of what Vader was capable of.
Oh yeah.
That one scene.
Hallway scenes, baby.
That is the best.
Just absolutely.
love it.
I was like, oh, now obviously Lucas and co, Dykstra and all those guys, they were constricted by the ability of the time. People weren't making films like that. They weren't making films with that kind of action, that kind of movement, whatever. Mandalorian, second season, last episode.
Yeah.
Luke shows up.
Hallway scene.
And again, it's the hallway scene, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, just like you got a sense of the kind of Jedi he was becoming in that episode. So I think that there are storytellers out there. Favreau is one. Who's the guy with the Italian name? Not John.
Filoni.
Dave Filoni. Yeah. Who are trying to fill in some of the blanks.
Those guys are true fans, and that's why
Absolutely.
that's why the TV shows like The Mandalorian did so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't think that those disrespected 7, 8, and 9. I felt like they put in extra meat to almost justify.
But that was extra. So they weren't rehashing stories; they were filling in gaps, and it was great storytelling.
Great storytelling, no doubt.
But so to your point about, I wonder if we could have a discussion without talking about what they took away. That's very hard to do because, as a diehard Star Wars fan, again, I had 2 decades of all this material that I fell in love with.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt disrespectful when the movies came out. And not only were they not that material, but they were rehashing storylines.
I was a little bummed that there wasn't a Mara Jade storyline.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted a Mara Jade storyline.
There's got to be,
so much.
at some point, there's got to be a Mara Jade story. But yeah, so anyway, so I actually felt, I think that's what happened to a lot of Star Wars fans. There's Star Wars fans that just get butthurt at anything, right? I'm not one of those. However, I did have expectations, and I think that's what ruined the movie for me because, again, it felt just a little disrespectful that they not only threw away all that material, they just rehashed old stories. That's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see something completely new.
So I want to tell you that I didn't dislike what they did with the Luke character. I'm going to expand on that just a little bit because, and I made a comment about this in one of our previous episodes that one of the reasons I've never really been a big fan of Luke is because he's whiny, he's impatient.
Yeah, when he's young, he is. Absolutely.
Exactly.
He's a kid.
By the time he makes it to Return of the Jedi, you see him mature. But then, like Larry was talking about, he hits this height, this uber height of what everybody perceives as perfection, and he messes up, and the whole thing falls apart. And instead of trying to work the problem, he becomes a recluse.
Yeah.
And he goes off on an island, and he shuts himself off from the Force, and instead of training Rey, he just continues to explain to her why she shouldn't do it.
Right.
And you know what it took to bring Luke back to a place that was anywhere near decent? Yoda coming back again and saying, dude, you have never learned.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that even as an old man, Luke is still Luke. And I think that's one of the things that, while I dislike the character, I like that the character development stayed the way it was because it stayed true to the type of character that he was.
I disagree with that 100%.
Okay.
I mean, then basically there's no character development if that's how it is. Because when he's a kid, all he wants to do is get off Tatooine and go have a life. He's a whiny kid. He's impatient. Yeah, because he's been trying to get off that planet for forever, and they don't let him go.
He did the same thing in Empire Strikes Back. He had to.
Exactly.
I learned some good skills, and I got to go jump into the mess.
If you go through 4, 5, and 6, you see his maturity happening, right? And then we get again 2 decades of him just becoming this ultimate warrior, and then we get episode 7 where he's a whiny old hermit. Right, it's completely 8. It's completely disrespectful to the character that had been developed for decades.
It showed his core personality.
Well, then again, if that's the case, then there's no character development there because this entire time he was just a whiny kid.
Well, I'm sort of in the middle of you guys because I actually was not unhappy with where old Luke wound up because in 4, 5, and 6 we got the happy ending. And sometimes you don't get a happy ending. And
Empire.
You can get redemption eventually if you're lucky, but you don't necessarily get a happy ending. If you want to talk about his ability as a Jedi Knight, the fact that he was able to project himself halfway across the galaxy to have a confrontation with his godson, the whole time stalling so that the last remnants of the resistance could escape, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a hell of a way to go.
That's what the Luke that I'm talking about. That's the Luke
then
I would
there
have
you
expected.
go. That was his ending.
Yeah.
Was that he ultimately did come back to that ultimate warrior he had become.
But it stayed true to some of his character traits from before. It's like when he's at his height, then he's this uber warrior, right? But under the underlying portion of it, Luke is still Luke.
Well, and then here's the thing about heroes: often they fall.
Yeah,
and he definitely did, and he was never able to forgive himself. Had he stuck around with Han and Leia, they would have forgiven him. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
they would have said, "You did the best you could." It was always a possibility with this one. That's why we gave him to you. It was to try to. We all saw the darkness in him. Right. And by the way, I thought Adam Driver did a respectable job as Kylo Ren, but I could not get past the man's nose. I cannot get past his nose. He looks like a cartoon.
I always called him Darth Tantrum.
Oh my God, that's actually a great Darth name.
It is.
Darth Tantrum.
Yeah.
Darth Hissy Fit.
I want to point something out. We are now almost an hour into this episode. You can tell how serious we are about this because that's the first joke that's come up.
You're absolutely right. And also, Micah again is smoking way faster than us.
Oh wait!
So since you're in this, well, you're
almost
out of the second
I'm
third.
second third.
So tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm going very slow on purpose.
How are you feeling, Micah?
I feel amazing. I don't feel nicked out. I don't know if that's the decent sized meal I had before this. But the flavors are consistent. I'm getting a little bit peppery now that I'm getting a little bit closer to the hell, but not too much. It's still pretty smooth for something that's supposed to be super potent. And I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that I just don't smoke lighter cigars on my own. The only time I've smoked a lighter cigar is when I'm with you guys. So, and the other thing I'm really, really digging on this is something that I learned. Out of almost all of the cigars that we have ever smoked together, I have only seen the little white oil pockets on the Fat Bottom Betty's that are those little oil pockets that are in there that just is a little burst of flavor addition. This is the first time you guys have brought a cigar to the show where I see them on this one. And I'm getting that rich flavor.
Yeah, because as they warm up, you can see them through the wrapper.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're like little happy pimples.
They're happy pimples. No, I'm really digging it. I'm still like lots of dark chocolate, lots of espresso.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not quite into my second, third, but I mean, it's still the same thing. It's just a flavor bomb. Is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a lot of change on this. Although it might get harsh toward the end. Yeah. But
I'll slow down.
I'm very much enjoying this right now. So this is yummy.
Yeah, I need to hit my whiskey too. It's
Yeah, guys.
You know what? I think
Or
I want to try
scotch.
this
Sorry.
with a little bit of water.
Okay, hit it.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Do you need a little refill?
Hold on. Hold on.
Yes.
God, I love the stingers. I love the stingers. They never get
right,
old.
go ahead.
My neck a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I'm over 40. Oh.
Every so often we need a reminder. I'm over 40.
All right.
And
go first.
Brent and I are way over 40. All right. You going to put a little water in that?
I'm gonna try a little bit too.
Okay.
Might as well.
Well, hell, boys. Micah, since you got the pipette,
How many you want?
just get the whole. Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
I will take one, please. Thank you.
Oh, that's interesting. So when I nosed this with no water in it, there was definitely that sort of alcohol, and it's taken it away from me.
No ethanol burn at all. None.
I'm getting a little bit of a burn.
Oh,
I don't.
I just got a little bit of like a. I want to say smoke, because not peat, but a little smoke on the back end.
It hasn't really changed appreciably for me. I mean, it's still kind of the same.
Yeah,
same dram
it's
it
the
was
same
before.
for me.
Yeah.
As it is neat with that little, and I did 2 pipets.
I mean, it was already pretty smooth, and it's 86
Yeah.
proof, and still very heavy green apple and pear.
Yep, and no legs on this, just thigh.
Which is part of the leg, just so we're clear.
All thigh.
Goodness. All right, I have a question for you guys. We've been talking about Star Wars 7, 8, and 9. Of the 3, which do you think is the best film?
Rogue One.
Well played, sir.
Yes.
9. It's 9 for me.
Yeah, me too.
Because there is you get, even if you don't have all of the original characters, you have a grouping of original fighters. You get Wedge back, you get a full-on battle. You get everybody back at once, and you see that they may be able to actually bring down the First Order, the final order at that point.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is the Emperor zombie reveal, because when I was in the theater and we were having this moment, I know you have a hard time with it, but just hear me out. I liked how Jedi, when they die, should they choose to, or actually know that Force power, that they can become Force ghosts. Mm-hmm. So what happens to Sith? Of course, zombies. Of course. Of course, zombies. And
zombies.
Because zombies. I loved it. I was like, I know that it was a little bit hokey, but I was really, really enjoying it. And the Emperor was like, kill me, Rey. Just kill me.
Yeah.
Because he knew that
Yeah.
he was going to do that. He was going to absorb everything that she was and come back to full power.
Well,
That was always the game plan.
The penultimate scene in that film,
Pentultimate or
penultimate scene in that
Pentultimate.
film.
I think that's a city in Kentucky.
Not Kentucky, but you're very close. It's Tennessee, actually. It's penultimate Tennessee.
There's like 5 places in there, right?
Well, it's like Springfield. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You didn't hear
He didn't hear what I said. I said Kentucky. He didn't. He didn't
Oh,
I got Kentucky.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm with you.
I
bro.
wasn't
there
paying
you go.
attention.
Yeah.
You're wearing a gaudy Star Wars shirt. Was when you started to hear the voices of Jedi past.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Which
And-
explains my T-shirt today.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Are you sure there's a T-shirt under there? Okay, there you go. Old
Old Ben.
the
Sabers in service.
The deals you're
The
looking
deals
for.
you're looking for.
okay,
Gotcha.
very nice.
Nice.
There was actually some talk. I think J.J. Abrams mentioned this in an interview, where they had actually brought back Hayden Christensen. I always get his name backwards.
It's okay. It does not matter.
It doesn't matter. But they brought him back. They brought Ewan McGregor back. They brought Liam Neeson and Sam Jackson.
Yep.
Because you hear all of these dead Jedi
Yeah.
start to speak and support Rey. They actually had shot a scene where they all showed up as Force ghosts.
I wanted to see that.
Yeah,
And I thought that would have been great. I can't remember why he said it ultimately got cut from the film, But I just thought that would have been so.
They would have had to
freaking
pay too
cool.
many people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, even
Probably.
like Sam Jackson for one scene. I can't imagine. I mean, yeah, I know they got Disney money, but damn, man. And there's always the chance that he would rip off a mother F-bomb.
I don't have a favorite of 7, 8, and 9. I have scenes that I liked.
Which movie had the most scenes that you liked in it?
So when Princess Leia died, at that point I was
Leia Poppins?
Yeah. I was still exactly. I was still actively trooping and going to cons and stuff. And I just remember all of the memorials and stuff that happened. Peter Mayhew and all that kind of stuff, right? And because Peter Mayhew actually lived here in North Texas, and so he hung out with us a lot at these cons and stuff, right? And he and Carrie had a very special relationship, But so I remember going through all that. So that scene was really touching. You know, the tribute that was paid to her for that.
When Chewie felt, didn't Chewie feel it?
Oh, Chewie felt it.
Oh yeah,
when it happened. Yeah. When Han Solo died. So in the books, Chewbacca dies, right? They're saving people from a planet that's basically crumbling under their feet, and Chewbacca throws. So Han and Leia have Jason, Jaden, and Anakin are their kids, and so Chewie's throwing them onto the Millennium Falcon, and then the planet crumbles away and they lose Chewie. Right? It's very sad. I think I felt that same sadness though when Han died, especially to be killed by his own son. Right? I mean, the minute Adam Driver started saying, "I know what I need to do."
Yeah, let's talk about the dialogue that he used.
I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
The minute he said that, I said he's about to kill him.
Yeah, and the fact that he used that dialogue again in 9,
yes,
was powerful.
Well, I did enjoy. The fight scene on Snoke's ship was awesome.
Oh,
where they're going up against the Red Guard.
Yeah, the Imperial.
That
Those
was
new Imperial
that
guards.
was great. But the way that
Who
they
had to be
set
force
up,
sensitive, by the way.
the way that they set up Snoke's death was really good because you did. I truly did think that he's Kylo Ren. He's not Ben anymore. He's whatever. And then you just see his hand go like that, and this whack, and then he just cuts him in half.
Oh, so good.
Well,
That
it's
was good.
not because he was good, because he wanted the power. He wanted to take over.
Well, no,
That's
I
why he
get
did.
that,
Oh,
but I'm
I'm-
saying the scene was good.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh,
At the
no,
end,
because-
at the end
because
of that
right-
scene,
because
he tries
he-
to tell Rey,
yeah,
let's rule
let's
the universe
burn it all
together.
down.
Yes,
Yeah, start
but
over.
but his argument was that let's not worry about light and dark. Let's just make this what it needs to be. And
But it was
what's the
still about
difference
control,
Yeah,
bro.
it's
What's
still about
that?
control,
What's
and-
the difference between that and what the rebels were doing? They believed that their way was the right way of ruling the galaxy. And so
Are you saying you agreed with him?
there was a form of no. I just think that in that moment
They were terrorists.
as they are.
Just call it what it is. The
But I
rebels
mean,
were terrorists.
so
Tourists.
I was
terrorists.
not convinced that Kylo Ren was like true evil at that point. I think that he was kind of getting to a place where he could see them trying to do something right, and when Rey turned him down, then he went straight over the edge and supreme leader.
You know what's not true evil? Second third of the cigar.
We already did it.
For him, not for
Yeah,
us.
let's do it for you guys.
Oh well, I'm actually pretty much the same notes you had then. The cigar has not changed appreciably for me at all.
Not at all. I mean,
So which I love because I
Cocoa
love
Bomb.
consistency in a cigar.
yeah, cocoa
So,
bomb. Just it's hard. I mean, it's just.
I will say
it's full out flavor.
I'm in the Micah camp in that I've smoked a lot of dark cigars.
Yeah.
So while I appreciate and I did eat a full meal before I came over here because I would do that anyway if I knew I was going to smoke a dark cigar. I'm not getting any nicotine head or anything like that, so I'm pretty good.
so far.
By the way, I leaned this way and winked with this eye, so that should tell you something.
Am I winking with the wrong
I
eye
went
again?
with the wrong eye again. Damn it!
All right. So one thing that I saw that kind of bugged me a little bit about 7, 8, and 9 is, like I said before, the Force connection or whatever was imbued, I think is the right word, in Anakin's original saber that passed to his son, that was lost, that Maz Kanata found, and then was trying to give to Rey. Rey finally claims it, and there's all this connection to it. It reminded me a little bit too much of Harry Potter, how wands are connected to their users.
But
so
you know what?
Well, Harry Potter's just a retelling of Star Wars.
You know what?
That's
though?
true.
I would like. Oh, here's a little nerd.
That
trivia.
and wait, real quick, and then all of the Jedi Force ghosts popping in, like Harry in Goblet of Fire, where all of his, all those previous ghosts were helping him out with Voldemort, and that's where I was really having a hard time separating those scenes.
What was interesting about that was that only happened in 7. Mm-hmm. They make no further mention of it in the subsequent films.
Yeah, so that was a thing for me too. Maz Kanata has Luke Skywalker. How did you get this? That's a story for another time. Come on.
That's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
That's
as
a
Deadpool
Disney.
would say.
That's a Disney budget for another time.
However, little nerd trivia. Babu Frick
I love that guy.
was voiced by the not young now, British actress who played
Harry Potter. She was in
Minerva. She was
in the Bads.
Moaning Minerva.
Moaning Minerva in the Bads.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And if you go back and listen, you can go, oh, I can totally see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And by the way,
Wow.
Babu Frick, one of the best things that ever happened to Star Wars. I mean, that is just yeah.
Babu Frick.
Oh, the action figure of C-3PO that came out before Episode 9 came out was C-3PO with red eyes, and he's holding the bowcaster and everything. And I'm like, they're turning C-3PO into a warrior?
Yeah.
But these little, again, I agree with you, the little moments of comedy. So, for example, in 9, when we don't know it's Lando Calrissian, he says, get on this big rolling sort of tank thing.
He was wearing the helmet.
He takes his helmet off.
He was wearing the helmet.
And he's wearing the helmet, and it's him and Chewie. There's a reunion, and then Lando goes to the to the cockpit, and he opens up this door and he goes, "Step on it," and this weird alien just turns around and goes, "Okay." I love. That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and Nine Nub came back for the end scene.
Yeah.
In he was if you don't remember, Nine Nub was the co-pilot.
Oh, yeah.
With
Return of the
Lando
Jedi.
in
Yeah.
Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi on the second Death Star run.
Oh man, I couldn't believe in what I guess it was 8. They killed Akbar.
Yeah.
I thought he'd live forever, man. They killed
Yeah.
Akbar. He didn't even get a chance to say it's a trap.
No, he said it's a.
What is? Oh, he's dead now. It doesn't matter. He's gone.
I did like that scene. What's her name? She did the hyperspace jump into the fleet.
I hated her.
Oh, come on.
Ugh, and I hate the actress.
Laura Dern?
Yes.
Jurassic Park?
Shut it down.
Yeah, that became whatever her name is, whatever her character's name is, that became known as her maneuver.
Yeah.
The whatever maneuver. I don't remember her name.
Dude,
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
I mean,
I liked it. I thought it was really cool.
the animation sequence of hyperspacing through another starship. Hell yeah, it was awesome. But
yes.
I just don't like the fact that she was supposed to be I don't like the fact she didn't trust Poe even a little.
She did. She said she liked him.
Yeah.
She didn't trust him.
No, not at all.
Because she knew he was a hothead and do whatever.
Yeah, and Leia had to come in afterwards, who was apparently her idol, and say, you know what, maybe you should give this guy a chance. Yeah. I mean, I'll shoot him for you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And she did. I love that Leia like pulling that blaster out and going,
Pew! And then everybody else like, nope, don't want any part of that. Nope.
oh, I guess it's over. Okay.
Good.
I would just like to go ahead and surrender right now.
Insurrection
to you,
over.
Insurrection
Well, the problem
over.
was
Can
they
we
didn't
rejoin?
let Poe in on the plan, right?
Which is dumb because...
Which is dumb because he's their best pilot and he should have been part of that plan. And he wouldn't have done what he did had he been part of the plan. And honestly, if he had known, I don't think the outcome would be any different. I think him not knowing didn't do anything moving the story forward.
Yeah.
I think that was, again, just...
And you go back to borrowing. So at the beginning of 8, what's happening? The resistance is evacuating the planet.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've got that. But the comedy that they put into that at the beginning where he's flying straight toward the destroyer,
Yeah.
and then he closes his wings and he goes, "I got a message for General Hux."
That was so good.
I'll hold. And Hux is just is just monologuing.
Are we connected?
Can he hear me?
Can he hear me?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, General Hux, I mean, you all know he was in Harry Potter.
Yep.
Too.
Oh yeah,
One of the Weasley brothers. Yeah.
I just thought that was hysterical.
Dominic, what's his name?
Oh,
No, Dom Hall. Gleason Dom Hall? Something
Sure.
Dom Hall.
Sure.
No, it wasn't. No, that was Mad Eye Mooney.
No. Dom Hall Gleason. That's got to be his name.
Tom Hall Gleason.
Yeah,
All right,
we can
hang
look it
on.
up. To the interwebs.
So to the interwebs.
My lighter's freezing. I need to put it against my body.
It's not that cold in here, dude.
It's not.
No. Wait, which one are we talking about? Force Awakens.
Okay.
Guys, I got a new toy.
Mad Eye Mooney was Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson.
Right. Okay, so look up Dom Hall.
I don't even know how to spell that.
DOMNHALL.
MNHAL.
Where's like all the cast and stuff?
Nope, you're right. Dom Hall Gleeson, and he's Irish, by the way.
Yeah.
He's Irish.
Got a new
Irish
toy.
is the days long.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame because he's got a lovely smile in his headshot.
I have
He
a new
never
toy.
smiled as Hooks.
Do what?
I got a new toy.
Okay, God, what does this do?
This is a draw enhancer.
Okay.
Okay. And a nubber.
Oh.
And a pick.
It looks like a tiny, tiny taser.
It is. You want to see?
Good luck.
So here's the
That'd be
draw
awesome.
enhancer. And the nubber actually is the one that flips around like this
Which is a made up word, by the way.
when it's time for this.
They're all
words are made
made-up
up.
He's just getting right in there.
Yep.
Look at that.
Let's do this shit.
He's so sophisticated. Do you also raise your pinky when you're using a Glencairn glass?
Oh, hold on.
I can't even do that.
He can raise his pinky.
Micah the Sophisticate.
Well, his full name is Micah Donahoe Esquire.
His Darth name would be Darth Sophisticate.
Darth Sophisticate. I like it.
If I was evil, I'm a Jedi 100%.
Oh, no. I would be Darth Hissy Fit.
Empire all the way. So the other part of this topic we want to talk about is where do we think that the Star Wars universe is going now?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we've been teased because
Have we?
we end with we end episode 9 with Rey burying the sabers, creating her own saber, which means she's going to continue her path.
Okay.
And then I had heard, at least by the end of 9, that was it. They were not going to do anything more with it. They said that the Skywalker storyline is done. And when she announced herself as Rey Skywalker, I was like, okay, she's done. And now all of a sudden...
Well, and then Daisy Ridley said she was done playing that character, too.
Yeah. And now, apparently, there's more coming.
Yeah.
But then I haven't heard anything more about it since.
Well, the storyline that originally was... They
15 years now? It's supposed to be like 15 years later?
Yeah, and she's rebuilt or rebuilding the Jedi Order, right? So basically they're taking that storyline from Luke and giving it to Rey. That's what they're doing.
Yep. Which means that now, again, they're continuing. They're continuing.
I would say there's so much space in between 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, and 9 that I really wish that they would just focus on that. Because all true Star Wars fans, I think... Now, having said that, when I say all true Star Wars fans, I'm thinking of people our age. But there are also true Star Wars fans out there who cut their teeth on 1, 2, 3, and 7, 8, 9. So they obviously want new stuff too. They don't want to go back in time. They want to go forward in time. So I can see the appeal there. Because let's face it, we don't have long to live.
Especially by the time
we're going to need you to move faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it.
So I know that it wasn't a very popular movie, but I, for one, absolutely loved it. But the Han Solo storyline.
Solo was okay. I kind of liked
Solo.
it. But Rogue One was definitely, of the extra movies, Rogue One is by far and away my
Rogue
favorite.
One.
I want to hear more about the
on.
Crimson.
Crimson Dawn.
Thank you. I want to hear more about that organization.
I wonder if we're going to get more of that in...
They introduced Terakasi.
Yeah.
That was only book and video game lore.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. They're slowly bringing in these elements.
Larry, do you know what Terakasi is? It's the Star Wars martial arts.
It's the fighting style. Yeah.
It's their martial arts style. It's called Terakasi.
The Jedi?
No, just regular people.
Oh, okay.
It is their karate. It is their kung fu.
Oh, okay. All right.
I did love that, and I think Jude Law did a great job. Wait, no, it wasn't Jude Law. It was the guy that I always confused.
Oh, the guy that plays Vision.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. Yeah. Thank you. I thought he did a good job.
Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you sure? Do you need a towel? Do you need some fruit basket or something? Because if I'm gonna kill you.
I did like bringing those elements in. I would like. I think of all of the Star Wars series that have been shown on Disney Plus, Andor was far and away the best one. There was just so much. I mean, when
and we're getting to season 2.
Yeah, and what's his name? Skarsgård.
Bill.
Was it?
Or Peter?
No,
Is it Peter?
The guy in Thor.
When he does his monologue about why he does what he does for the rebellion. I mean, that is so gripping. I mean, that made the entire series right there. You know.
Yeah.
What series was this?
Andor.
And when they
Andor.
When they
I
released
thought you
it,
said Endor, and I was like,
I
there
did
was
it
no
first too.
Endor series.
I did it first too.
Andor, yes.
So when Andor first came out, they released the first 3 episodes at once, and then they made us wait a second.
Wait. Was that the same Skarsgård that was in? No.
In Marvel, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He played the doctor
Yeah.
that worked with. Oh my gosh, we're so bad at names.
I know. He was playing with Natalie Portman's character as a scientist.
Natalie Portman.
He got tricked by Loki.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I don't think he was. Was he?
It's
a
more than
Skarsgård?
power.
I thought he was a
it's
Skarsgård.
truth. He is. Well, I don't know if it's part of the same.
No,
family.
he is a Skarsgård. You're right. I'm sorry. I was going back to Rogue One, and I was thinking Mads Mikkelsen, who played Jen's father.
Yes.
Mads Mikkelsen, yeah.
But back to Rogue One. You talk about martial arts. Donnie Yen's character.
Oh yeah.
I loved him so much, and I hated that he had to die because I just wanted a whole series about him.
Oh my gosh.
Because
how
first of all,
awesome.
I love Donnie Yen. I think he's extremely charismatic on screen.
He's very religious in this.
I love why I will like if you tell me there's a new Donnie Yen movie out, I'm watching it. I don't care what it's about.
So what I loved about that was the original name of Star Wars when George Lucas started writing it was called Journal of the Wills.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
Yeah. And so
Nerd.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in Rogue
Nerd
One,
alert.
you get to see that's the religion that they're in is the Wills, right? They're worshiping the Wills basically, or following the Wills.
But they were just guarding him and his buddy were guarding the remnants of the Jedi Temple, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was such a great character. I just loved it, and I thought those guys had such great chemistry together. You got the one guy who's all about the Force is with me and I am with the Force. The Force is with me and I am with the Force. And this other guy was just big gun. Let's just shoot stuff, man. Come on.
You keep walking into traffic, baby. I'll keep shooting the cars.
And I love how Donnie Yen beats up a squad of stormtroopers with a bow staff.
Ah, see?
I mean, come on. He's cracking armor.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, good stuff.
Such good stuff.
So I don't know. So I know that they're talking about in the future. They're talking about the continuation of Rey's storyline, or at least a new storyline with a new Jedi Order. But also, isn't there talk about the High Republic? Is that only in comics?
I think that's just in comics.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they've started a new storyline with High
I mean, because they did that a little bit with that new The Acolyte. That went back to High Republic.
Yes, it did.
But I thought that they were going to do a movie based on that at one point.
I mean,
So many ideas have come and been shelved.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that would be totally out of the picture. I think it would behoove Disney to spend time in different eras, right, of the story. So there's tons of people that want to see all of the High Republic stuff. They want to see the 10,000 years before the Star Wars.
Well,
series,
I mean, that's what they're basically doing with Dune Prophecy right now. Have you guys been watching
oh
that?
my gosh,
I
it's
have
so
not. I have it turned
It
off.
is
It's so good.
I have Max turned off right now. I just want to wait till it comes out, kind of in its entirety, and I'm going to turn it back on.
Well,
Dude,
when you
it
turn it
is.
back on, another thing you need to watch is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story.
Oh,
That's
yes.
You told me about that.
Yeah,
that
you sent that
documentary.
to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super slash man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
As it
and
should
it
be.
is amazing. So amazing. There are so many tearjerker moments in it.
I'll turn Max back on because I really do want to see the Dune stuff. But I really, really want to get into the Skeleton Crew stuff. I mean, can you spoil just a little bit from the first episode? Hook me, because for some reason I don't care. I want to watch it kind of, but I don't care.
Well, I think Jude Law is the only real draw in that series. It's a bunch of kids. They find what they think is a Jedi temple. It turns out to be a spaceship. There's a droid on board that's played by Nick
Kroll.
No.
Cage.
No.
Oh. I don't know.
Nolte.
Shaun of the Dead.
Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. Thank you.
I know all the Nicks.
Yeah, it's basically a pirate droid. That's,
You're a Nickophile.
It's voiced by Nick Frost.
That was a terrible thing to say. I don't even think I'm going to say that sounded better in your head. You knew exactly what you were saying, perv.
Yep.
But anyway, so he's a great character in that story. So basically, these kids, they get on this starship. The starship is pre-programmed to go a certain place. They bring it out of hyperspace. They end up by a port. The robot thinks that they're pirates, right? So he takes them to this pirate port, and they've got like this money and stuff, and people are chasing them. Yada yada. Mayhem ensues. They get off of there. They get caught. They get thrown in jail. In jail, they meet Jude Law's character. So it starts off with Jude Law's character. He's a space pirate. They go and they hijack a ship expecting to get a bunch of money. There's no money, so the crew commits a mutiny.
How old are the kids?
They're young.
They're younglings.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12 maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You're not hooking me.
Well, I saw the trailer and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some articles of people that have seen more of the series that say Star Wars is finally fixing things like they're saying it's a decent series. So I've only seen the first one. But I'm not going to give up. I've watched every single Disney Plus series that's come out, no matter what people say about it, because I'm just curious.
Because it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, and at worst, I'm entertained a little bit. So,
I like that. At worst, I'm entertained a little bit.
Yeah.
And where are they going to keep on going with the Andor storyline?
I really don't know. I mean, it's his whole build up into becoming where he finds his place in the rebellion.
The guy we see in Rogue One.
Yeah. The guy we see in Rogue One.
All right.
So it's kind of the prequel to that's what it is, right?
Yeah, I remember when I first saw the first season of Andor, the first 3 episodes that came out were a lot of build-up, and I was bored off my ass.
Yep, there's a lot of
and
backstory
then
and stuff.
Once we got into the rest of the series, I was like, this may be some of the best Star Wars writing I've seen.
I love it that in the prison they're building the parts for the Death Star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Micah's in the final third. We should probably talk about it because he has been sucking that thing down like it's Christmas sugar.
It's really good.
I mean, he's literally, you're right there at the end, buddy. So tell us your thoughts because we are nowhere close.
I'm getting there. I've been taking my time with this one.
I got to hit this really, really soft. Now I'm like severely in the hell, and right now the flavors are just blending together. Now that the dark chocolate, the espresso, heavy pepper, but that has a lot to do with the heat, and I know that.
Yeah.
So, cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's still consistent. It's like it started for me.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing appreciably has changed. That's amazing.
Do you guys have anything more on the Star Wars stuff?
I mean, I would like to see more movies come out. I'm just gonna have to make my peace with where the storyline is going and what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
As much as I want to see all the legacy stuff brought out again, I'm happy that they're bringing when they in Ahsoka when they finally introduced Thrawn, I was like, thank you, finally,
right?
Finally.
Thank you for giving us something that
that
we
was
can
cool.
relate to.
That was cool.
And I'm sorry, Book of Boba Fett riding a Rancor. Come on.
Awesome.
What's more cool than that? But yeah, so I mean,
how is Jabba gonna do that?
Right?
He's like he bought himself a Rancor, and he's like, you know what? I want to ride a Rancor, and he just keeps slipping off the sides.
He didn't think this through, guys. Can we build him some kind of a saddle?
Yeah, we need a better saddle.
Can we build a saddle? Do we just put him in a sleeping bag and strap him on? What's going? How do we do this?
Just put a big back sit on top of
There you go.
of the Rancor.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm making my peace with what they're doing with the series. I'm not one of those people that just bemoans everything that comes out Star Wars. I mean, like I said, even in 7, 8, 9, there are parts that I really, really like, and there are elements of the movies I really enjoy. My only disappointment was the rehashing stuff. Yeah. They have so much material to draw from, and there's so much they could have done with that storyline. Yet they fell back on let's rehash. We're going to build another Death Star, but this time we're going to stick it in a planet, so it's different.
Yeah, and it can blow up systems instead of single planets.
And in the second movie, they're going to be escaping, but from a different planet.
Yeah, so
it won't be made of ice.
Right.
It'll be made of salt.
Yeah. Do better. That's all we're saying. Do better. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Nerd Herfers. We've been talking about Star Wars movies 7, 8, and 9. Do feel free to chime in with your opinions. Hit us up in the comments section on our YouTube channel. Drop us a line at nerdherfers.com. We hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation as much as we enjoyed having it. Tonight we have been enjoying the Espinosa 601 La Bomba Napalm, not for beginning smokers. We're just going to say that straight out.
It's for Micah smokers.
It is for Micah smokers. If you would like to try this out for yourself or review it, by all means, go to nerdherfers.com/shop or cigar shop.
Shop.
nerdherfers.com/shop. That'll take you to our CI link. You'll go right to that cigar. You can get some for your very own self. Thanks again for tuning in. I am Larry Brantley along with Micah Donahoe.
Live long and prosper.
And Brent Williams.
Keep your shirt on.
Reminding you, the Force will be with you always. Good night, everybody. This has been a production of Nerd Herfers. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved. No portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer, you nerd.